Yo, Nakama, how is it going? It is your boy Cozy coming at you with another deck tech video today. And so we're going to keep it going with the OP16 train, and we are going to be focusing now on green, blue, Monkey D. Luffy from OP16. He's a 5,000 power 4 life leader with the green and blue color attribute, with his activate main once per turn of if the only characters on our board are Impel Down type characters, we can set 2 Dawn as active. So it's really good in terms of making a strong tempo push, being a little bit more aggressive, spending the Dawn to get more bodies out, to then restand Dawn, to move that Dawn somewhere to really start attacking. So overall, I kind of like the list. I definitely think it is one of the more popular leaders in OP16, especially if you're looking for a more aggressive type of push. And we're gonna go through a deck list that I think can do really well in this meta. How it's gonna work is we start with our 2Ks, look at our characters, and then look at events in any stages if we play them. So let's go ahead and run our quick little clip, and I'll catch you in the 2K list. All right, welcome back to our 2K list. So overall, we are running quite a bit of 2Ks. I think you guys will know why here in just a minute. But we are going to start with 3 copies of Galdino from ST30, the Ace and Luffy red-green starter deck. It has a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 2K counter. Activate main. You may trash this character. Give up to 2 of your characters with a base power of 6,000, up to 2 rested Dawn on each one. So if we have 2 6K bodies, we can play the Galdino, trash it, and then put 2 Dawn under one, 2 Dawn under another if they're rested, just so that way we can kind of push a little bit more and use that Dawn a little bit more wisely. So in this list, we're not running just 4 or 6, but 8 of the Prisoner of Impel Down from OP16. It is a 6-cost, 6,000 power 2K with the only effect of under the rules of the game, you may have any number of this card in your deck. So that's why we're running a ton of them. They're really good to see. They're also really good with another character card that we have in here and a couple of other things. But primarily with the Luffy, it's an Impel Down type character, big body. So we can probably play a couple of them, use the rest as 2Ks, which is very solid. And they're searchable because they're just the Impel Down type. Which brings us to our 1-drop list. First, we're running 4 copies of the Monkey D. Luffy, who has a Dawn ×1 on your turn effect. This character gains plus 1,000 power for each of your characters with a different name on the board. Also on play, look at the top 3 cards of the deck, reveal up to 1 Impel Down type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest of the bottom in any order. So we can find the Prisoners of Impel Down. We can find Galdino. We can find pretty much everything in the list, minus a couple of things if I'm not mistaken, but we'll double check that when we're going through. I know at least 1 card you can't find in here, so that is going to be something to kind of be aware of. Next, in the 2-drop slot, I am running 4 copies of Mr. 1 Daz Bones from OP16. He has a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter, with the Dawn ×1 and your turn effect of if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character gains plus 3,000. So he becomes a 6,000 power character on your turn if you have 5 or more cards in hand, with an on play of drawing 1 card. Overall, really good to start kind of adding more cards to the hand and really trying to dig for a lot of like either counter, for searchers, for buffers, for big game cards, for events. Overall, just drawing an extra card is really good. He replaces himself. Next, I'm running 4 copies of Mr. 2 of the Bon Gure from OP16. 2-cost, 1,000 power, no counter. He is an Impel Down type character, so he is searchable off the Luffy. On play, we draw 1 card, and then Dawn ×1 activate main. This character's base power becomes the same as your opponent's leader's power during this turn. So he basically is like the purple one, except instead of ramping you a card, he draws you a card. And it's a Dawn ×1 effect, so he does have to have a Dawn under him to swing, which is totally fine because we can move Dawn around, we can restand Dawn to put a Dawn under an attack. He becomes a 5, a 6, or in some cases with Roger, a 7,000 power character +1, still requiring a 2K counter out of hand just per attacking. Next up, I am running 3 copies of Ivankov from OP16. 4 cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 power counter. On play, we look at the top 3 cards of the deck, reveal up to 1 Impel Down type card, add it to the hand, and then place the rest of the bottom in any order. Then play up to 1 character card with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. So an example, you can play this, search for Bonkure or Dazbones, and what you'll do is you'll find it, play it, and draw an additional card just a little bit deeper in the deck. So with Ivankov, you're really looking at 4 cards, grabbing 2. And then, of course, the Bonkure is going to play itself, draw 1. So we're still not losing any card advantage. We're just looking at the deck a little bit further to see what we have. Next up, I got 2 copies of the Monkey D. Luffy from starter deck 30. 4 cost, 6,000 power, brick in hand. On play, you may rest 1 of your Dawn cards. This character gains Rush during this turn. And then when attacking, we can rest up to 1 of our opponent's blockers for the turn. Doesn't matter what cost or anything like that, just any character with blocker, we're resting it. Great for ending the game and pushing for lethal, or just clearing out some bodies to clean up the board a little bit. They can't block it, so it's virtually unblockable if they have 1 blocker in play. Next up, I run 4 crocodiles from OP16. 4 cost, 6,000 power, brick in hand with a blocker. On play, you may return 1 of your characters with a cost of 2 or more to its owner's hand as a cost. Then you may play up to 1 Impel Down type character with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. So what you could do is play the crocodile, bounce the Ivankov, play the Ivankov, or the Bonkure, sorry, not the Ivankov, and draw an additional card. So for 4 Dawn, we're getting 6 Dawns worth of value and an additional card in hand to replace him. I think it's a win-win in that regard. Next up, I am running 4 copies of Mr. 3 Galdino from OP16. It is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter. With when attacking, you may trash this character, or activate main, sorry, not when attacking. Activate main, trash this character, draw 2 cards, and put up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of, 9 or less. They cannot attack during the turn. They cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. Sorry, I don't know what is going on with me today, but hey, we're here for it. So basically, you're gonna play the Mr. 3, pop it, anything 9 costs or less, not going to attack us next turn, which is great. Now we see why we have a ton of the prisoners in our deck. We're running 4 copies of the Buggy, which is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter from OP16. On play, if your leader has the Impel Down type, we draw 1, and then up to 1 of your prisoners of Impel Down, you can play 1 from your hand. And then once per turn, when your opponent declares an attack, you can make a prisoners of Impel Down a blocker for the turn. Really great. Love seeing a lot of Impel Downs because you can play the Buggy, play a prisoner. 11 Dawn, great value. I am running 1 copy of Baruch in this deck from OP15, if I remember right, OP15. 6 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter. On play, rest up to 1 of your opponent's cards, and then activate main. You may trash this character. If your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, you can set up to 1 of your characters with a base cost of 6 or less as active, which thankfully Luffy does. He has the Straw Hat Crew typing. So we could do something like Luffy swing, rest a blocker. Play Brook, rest the other blocker. Trash Brook, restand Luffy, swing 6. So you're getting 2 rest effects just on plays. On play and when attacking, trashing to rest and probably rest another blocker. So if they're trying to block her up, Brook's really good to play in the situation because you can go Brook, rest a blocker. Luffy, swing, rest a blocker. Trash the Brook, restand the Luffy, swing, rest the other blocker. So you're getting 3 blocker rests the entire turn, or you could even use the Brook to rest the Dawn that they have if they have some counter events put up. Next up, I am running 3 copies of Boa Hancock in the 7-drop slot. It is a 7 cost, 9,000 power brick from OP16 who has the unblockable effect, and on play, Up to one of your opponent's characters other than Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. Great card to have in not necessarily the mirror match, but just a good card to kind of stop your opponent's tempo and making sure that they cannot be rested. So you could even target a blocker with this. You could also make sure that something can't swing at you. Just a whole lot of different variety and a different kind of outlook on what you can do for the deck. Next, I play one copy of the Dead Man's Game. Great green event. It has a main of you may rest 3 of your Dawn cards and then rest 2 of your opponent's cards. It can be a character or a Dawn. And then the counter for it is a plus 3k for one. Great card, especially seeing it in the counter. But you could also use this to shut down the game too, because for 4 Dawn, you're resting 2 blockers automatically. You could play the Brook, rest another card, swing the Luffy, rest a blocker if they have it, trash the Brook, swing with the Luffy again. So it would be kind of up to you on what you wanted to do for it. Next up, I run 2 copies of I Know You're Strong, so I will go all out. It's a 1-cost event from OP13. It has the activate main of resting 2 Dawn cards, and then up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less will not become active during your opponent's refresh phase, or you can just spend the Dawn as a counter event to give it plus 3k. Next up, I am running 2 copies of the Let's Go to Navy Headquarters from OP16, 1-cost event. For activate main, you may rest 6 of your Dawn cards. If you have 5 Impel Down type characters with different card names, you set your leader and all of your characters as active. It also has a counter for 1 Dawn that you can use for a 3k. And then the last card that we do run is a Gravity Blade. I like Gravity Blade in this because you can get rid of some pesky blockers. You could target the Crocodile as an example in the mirror match. You can target Bonkure. You could target Buggy, Brook. You could also target like a Luffy, the Daz Bones. So there's a lot of different variety that you can pick in the mirror match, but also in a lot of the other formats. So like if they leave the black Yamato that pitches itself to pull a card out of trash, you could bottom deck it. If you're playing against Sengoku, you could target the Garp, you could target the Sengoku character, you could target the Rosinante blocker. If you're playing against Teach, you can target all of their KO effects. So that's going to be like Lafitte, that's going to be San Juan Wolf, that's going to be Augur, Doc Q, Katarina Devon. So Gravity Blade in this format, I feel is really good. I don't want to play multiple copies of it. If I see it, I see it. If not, I have other ways to rest and get around things and maneuver. But this is my green-blue Luffy deck. I have had a lot of fun playtesting it, and I gotta say it's pretty strong and pretty healthy. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you would play something like this, or what are some of the other tech options that you run instead of running this particular list. I look forward to seeing those comments. I reply to every single one, every chance that I get to see them. So I will catch you guys in the next upload. Peace and love, y'all.
Thanks for riding with the vibe. Cozy games every time. Pulling leaders, making plays on the